The man had an unusual obsession. Whenever the house was empty, he would slip into women's clothing, tie himself up with rope and snap photos to enjoy on his own. In his everyday life, though, he was an easygoing PE teacher, and even his wife had no clue anything was off. One night, his son Tyler took the family BMW out for a date with his girlfriend. They had originally planned to watch a KK movie in the car together, but when his girlfriend adjusted her seat, she stumbled across a disturbing magazine photo in the car.
Is that what you're into?
No,
Assuming Tyler had put it there. She was shocked to think the boy she liked could be such a creep. Tyler couldn't come up with a good explanation on the spot, and what was supposed to be a sweet date ended on a sour note. The next day at the dinner table, Tyler looked at his father differently than before because he had a sneaking suspicion the photo belonged to his dad. Just as he was about to bury the whole thing, he noticed the girls at school giving him strange looks. It turned out his girlfriend had told her friends, and word spread like wildfire. Almost overnight, the entire school knew, and Tyler became the talk of the hallways. While he quietly endured being shunned by his classmates, he grew more and more convinced that something was off about his father. He'd noticed that his dad often came and went from a small shed near the house, one with a combination lock on the door, as if it were hiding something he didn't want anyone to see. So while his father was out, Tyler cracked the lock and slipped inside. First glance, it just looked like a place for ordinary household tools. Nothing out of the ordinary, but as he kept digging around, he spotted a loose floorboard. When he pried it up, he found a cramped, hidden compartment with a box tucked inside. Curious, Tyler opened the box and found it stuffed with women's magazines, all cut up and torn apart. The photos that had turned up in the car had been clipped straight from these pages. On top of that, Tyler made an even more shocking discovery. At the very bottom of the box was a photograph of a woman. Just as Tyler was reeling, he heard a noise outside. He quickly put everything back the way he'd found it. Meanwhile, Mike came home, planning to ask his son to help load up some stuff, only to find the house empty. He went to check on his shed and noticed the combination lock had clearly been tampered with. That night, Tyler opened his laptop and typed the name from the photo into the search bar. To his shock, the woman turned out to be a victim of a serial murder case. From years ago, could his own father be the killer? The next day, Mike called his son into the shed. While casually asking how things were going at school, he subtly tried to feel out whether Tyler had caught on to his secret. Luckily, Tyler thought fast and covered his tracks well, not giving his father any reason to suspect a thing. After that, he went over to his classmate Casey's house. Casey's mother had been killed in a serial murder case. And ever since, Casey had been collecting and digging into anything related to it. She laid out a mountain of evidence, and they realized that with every murder, the killer used a specific knot called a double overhand. A knot Tyler's father used all the time at work. To get to the bottom of it, Tyler told his parents he picked up a part-time job. Every day after school, he headed to Casey's place, where the two of them dug into the serial murders that had once terrified the whole town. Tyler didn't realize was that his father had already grown and was watching his every move from a distance. One day, his father confronted him about lying about the job, and Tyler knew he'd been caught. He quickly pulled himself together and made up a story on the spot, claiming Casey was actually his girlfriend, and he'd just been going over to hang out. His father let it go for the moment, but to make sure his son wasn't lying, he insisted Tyler bring this so-called girlfriend home for dinner, trying to feel out their relationship at the table. Luckily, Tyler had already gotten their story straight with Casey, so nothing slipped through the cracks. Meanwhile, Casey had picked up on the fact that Tyler suspected his own father. Noticing how on edge he seemed, she actually got a little excited.
It's not your fucking dad!
She said Tyler's dad didn't seem like a bad guy. To prove her wrong, Tyler took her to the shed. But when they lifted the floorboard, everything that had been hidden there was gone. Casey reached deeper into the compartment, and her hand landed on a blueprint drawing. Seemed to show some kind of hidden room, marked with all kinds of different binding techniques. To preserve the evidence, they took a picture of the blueprint. After Casey left, Tyler studied the drawing more carefully, and suddenly realized the layout looked eerily similar to the inside of his own house. Knowing something was very wrong, Tyler locked the shed back up, went around to the matching vent on the outside of the house, pried off the cover, and crawled inside. But once he was in, the space was empty, except for a single wooden board propped against the corner, which stood out like a sore thumb. The moment Tyler moved the board, a sharp, foul stench hit him. Pushing past the smell, he kept going and flipped on a light, only to find the decomposing body of an animal on the floor as he looked around. He realized that although the room was less than 100 square feet, it had been turned into a makeshift living quarters, complete with the toilet and shower. In a cardboard box in the corner, Tyler dug up a stack of bondage magazines, along with another box that held IDs belonging to several different women. Going through them one by one, he was horrified to realize every single one of them was a victim of the serial killings. In that moment, a chilling question crossed his mind. Could his own father really be the killer? The next day, his father suggested they go hunting together. The two of them walked into the woods one after the other, and once they were deep in the trees, Mike stopped fiddling with his rifle, while casually fishing for information about what his son knew. Did you tell anyone, realizing Tyler had pieced things together? Mike spun a story to cover his tracks. He claimed it was actually Tyler's uncle who had done it all, and that he himself had nothing to do with any of it. He said he'd kept quiet out of loyalty to his brother, and that the uncle was now in a vegetative state, which he considered fitting punishment after getting that off his chest. Mike burned all the incriminating items right in front of Tyler, then handed him a wad of cash, and told him to go take a trip and clear his head, hoping to put the whole thing to bed. But it wasn't over not long after Tyler left. The old urges came rushing back. Mike put on women's clothing and started taking photos of himself. But after dozens of shots, none of them felt right. After letting some of that pressure out, Mike decided to go hunting for a target. He headed to a supermarket and quickly zeroed in on a tall, heavyset woman. When Mary made her way to the checkout, he followed right behind her. He tailed her all the way home. Then, armed with his tools, he climbed in through a window. Spotting Mary asleep on the couch, he grabbed the remote and cranked up the TV volume. When Mary woke up to find a masked man in her house, she was terrified and was about to scream. Mike clamped a hand over her mouth and warned her that as long as she cooperated, she wouldn't get hurt. He hauled her up to the bedroom on the second floor, tied her up, and started taking pictures. That's when Tyler burst through the door with a gun.
Dad.
What are you doing here?
He hadn't actually gone on any trip. He and Casey had been secretly tailing his father, following him all the way to Mary's place. Even faced with this, Mike kept his cool and started talking, trying to coax his son into lowering the weapon. The moment Tyler's guard dropped, Mike snatched the gun right out of his hands. The first thing Mike did with the gun was point it straight at his own son. As it turned out, Tyler hadn't even loaded it. The two of them ended up in a brutal struggle, but Tyler was no match for his father. Just when things were looking grim, Casey came charging in from behind and smashed a lamp over Mike's head, knocking him out cold after narrowly escaping. The two didn't call the police. Instead, they drove Mike out to the middle of nowhere and staged it to look like a suicide. From that day on, a new missing person flyer went up around the town, and Mike the serial killer was gone for good.